Hello everyone, Russell Wright from Network Empire and ThemeZoom.com, and I have my business partner Sue Bell and Jimmy Kelley with me today. We want to introduce you to Live Certification 2015, which is April 12th through 18th, and I actually want to talk to you about what it is that you get and what we're going to be covering at this live event. There's so much, we felt it would be better to talk to you live and go through our little presentation here. Thanks Sue, thanks Jimmy for joining us.
Thanks for having us, Russell.
So here's what you get, only at Network Empire Live 2015. Live interaction with the entire team. Build your online empire live and in person with the original experts. Nothing replaces live interaction with our entire team as we look at your specific online business and technical needs. Hopefully that's pretty much straightforward, but without being there, it's really impossible for us to depart every single nuance that the whole team is able to communicate with you. There's a lot, as some of you have learned. We've had students that have been with us for almost a decade now, wouldn't you say, Sue?
Yep,
And so
exactly.
there's just you learn so much more. It's a media rich environment. And there's certain things you just can't get fully over the web and webinars. So that's one major aspect. And another aspect of the live event is just simply putting it all together. Our One WebRing online content broadcasting system is a flexible framework built on evergreen technology principles, and these principles allow you to easily swap and replace SEO traffic strategies and platforms as the internet inevitably changes. Sue, could you talk a little bit more about this? Because I know that as you lead our company into the future, as we move more and more towards what you and I and Jimmy have agreed is a very volatile and changing search engine as well as internet in general, you kind of created this flexible framework and principle. What do you mean by that?
Well, it was obvious to me as social media started to come on the scene, which was just shortly after we started ThemeZoom. There were a lot of platforms that would come up and they'd be popular for a moment, and then boom, overnight they were gone.
Right.
And uh, and you'd watch people try to base their business on some of these platforms because they had an incredible amount of traffic, but it's as stable as the sand, right?
Yep.
So so the first couple of tries that we had, I've even got one still up on a whiteboard in my old office that
Good. It's still there.
yeah, where we've got all these social media platforms and we're looking at how we can utilize that to drive traffic to the money site.
Mhm.
And as we started to build up that idea of a network, um, I became aware that you just got to build it in such a way that you can replace pieces easily, like Lego blocks, right?
Yes.
So the system that we've devised over the years has that flexibility built right into it, so that all you have to do is start with these principles that we show you, and then you're good to go. It doesn't matter what the internet throws at you, what black swan comes out of nowhere. You'll be able to adapt and be in a good space for
It's like swipe, improve, deploy, replace, whatever it is there. It's ratcheting, it's flexible.
exactly.
And it's really huge. Some of you are just now getting used to our system, but you're beginning to see the power in that. So that's a major thing that we're going to be able to show you in person. So also you're going to get daily access to individual team members during the event, personal and daily access to the entire team, one-on-one access to SEO software architect Sue Bell. I mean, that's worth the price alone, obviously. Actually, any one of these team members is worth the price alone. SEO master Jimmy Kelley, who's with us right now on this call, will be there as well. And we're going to get into a little bit of that here in a second. Also, one-on-one access to Matt DeCruz, and he's the developer of the DWS, soon to be called the Any Silo Builder system, along with architect Sue Bell. And of course, I am there. And my focus is on neuromarketing persuasion and the human element, the cybernetic element of online digital lifestyle. And then there's, of course, semantic web expert Kevin Pauly. This is huge. He's coming all the way from the UK. You're going to want to talk about the semantic web. We have stuff to show you that is really holy crap. So you guys are going to want to see that. Black Magic SEO secrets. Elite access to Sue and Jimmy's most guarded Black Magic SEO secrets and tricks that are only revealed at our live event. No recordings allowed for these demonstrations. I had fun making this slide, obviously. You guys, do you have a comment on this, either one of you?
It's classified.
Actually, I shouldn't laugh so hard because really there's not a lot to be said about it. As you probably, some of you listening can imagine, everybody, I love what one of our certified advisors, Ben Johnson, says. And every time I try to come up with a comment about these types of things, I just think of him because he, as a copywriter and neural marketer himself, he just nailed it. everybody that I've talked to and all the courses I've attended tend to claim that they have SEO secrets. You guys are the first ones that actually have had truly mind-blowing SEO black magic secrets. So I just want to throw that in there. And thanks, Ben, for that. Kudos. Domain authority of 90. Learn how to get your WR2 website to a 90 plus domain authority. Jimmy, this is something that you had me throw in. Any comments on this, or just let it stand as it stands?
Well, I mean, I could make some comments here. So not all my stuff is classified, I guess, but there's a lot of situations, I'd say, like in our courses and in other events where there's hundreds of people or more, we're just not able to come out and announce to others what some of these closely guarded secrets are, just because they get scraped and put out all over the internet.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about certification is it provides a more intimate kind of setting so that we can share some of these things, because the chances of somebody trying to scrape some of this and steal it and put all over the internet, that's just not going to happen. The people that do the certification are family, so
That's exactly right. And it really is an intimate environment to talk about stuff. And there's some of these things that, aside just from communicating them, we don't really want to talk to just everybody in the world about some of these things. These are strategies that, like, there are those who say that, sometimes like even instant ranking like processes are gone, and they're not. You can learn some of these basic techniques, and I'm really, really excited about this aspect. So let's move on to domain authority secrets, which is a derivative of the last slide we just had. Deeper training on domain authority stacking and the end of PageRank. What is really going on? Rare live training with Jimmy and Sue. I remember when I was first hanging out with Jimmy for the first time in Phoenix, he said some pretty amazing things about PageRank and domain authority. Since then, Sue and Jimmy have been having conversations that to be a fly on the wall in those conversations has, of course, been an honor. It's also been really crazy and intense stuff. Some of these things we're going to be talking to you about at the live event, and domain authority stacking, domain authority secrets. This is one of my favorite topics because it does really, I love contrarian stuff as part of my MO, just as a neuroscientist and neuromarketer. I like things that are actually contrary, not just hyped to be that. And contrary, not for the sake of it, but because it's the truth. It actually works. And you're going to get tons of that stuff, and that's an immense value. Custom business training. Another aspect of what we do is that you'll get this hands-on specific business situation targeted to your needs, how to make the best personal use of our WebRing system. We have a lot of different names for this system, and sometimes we joke around because over time it's evolved into a pretty long word, such as the one WebRing, semantic web integrated, socially activated, perpetual downstream domain authority stacking system. So we have a lot of different words for this, but just suffice it to say that this system does have a set of rules and a set of guidelines. There's difference between rules and guidelines that are flexible, like Sue mentioned earlier in this presentation, to your specific business needs. We're going to actually be there to give you some guidance through those layers. Of course, there is the infamous website silo architecture. SEO website silo architecture is one of our mainstays. We're one of the original experts. Our company is the original experts on this topic. The right way, the wrong way, the unknown facts. Learn from the original silo experts when and if you should apply these methods. It's not apply this method. It's not that you should always do website silo architecture. There's few times where it doesn't benefit you, but one of our big challenges, and Sue, you should really weigh in on this, is there is a lot of stuff out there since we've popularized it after 2007. I think we were pretty much one of the originals, besides Bruce Clay, where I learned it. And then, I mean, people are doing it wrong. Like, I wish there was a nicer way to say it.
It's easy to do wrong.
Okay, that's a nicer way to say it. Yeah, in other words, it's easy to do wrong. That's a great way of saying it. And the best way to then say it is, like, because it's so easy to do it wrong, almost everybody that I have looked at is, unless they've taken your training. Right. I just wanted to comment on that. Jimmy, do you have anything to add to that with theming website silo architecture?
Yeah, I've seen some people out there lately just saying that siloing just doesn't work at all.
Yeah.
And I almost have to laugh when I hear, I think when I was watching that video, I just turned it off. Because anyone who says that is just obviously doesn't know what they're doing.
They don't fundamentally understand how it works. And of course, we've had SEO silo architecture doesn't work since 2008. every once in a while a video comes along and then they explain it wrong. And so that being said, we're going to get into this at a deeper level, and right before your very eyes, we're going to show you why it does and what that's about. SEO silo plugin magic. On that note, of course, we are the creators of what I currently hold as being the only technically correct SEO silo plugin on the market. I know that's a bold claim, but we do purchase and look at all the other silo structures within WordPress, and so far haven't really found one. And I just want you to also know, outside of being biased, that if there was one that worked, that would be interesting almost. But the problem is that there isn't, and so we're going to get into why and how, and ultimately we'll be showing you the new release and the completely built from the ground up version that we have, and you'll get hands-on training with that. So that's kind of nice that you're there with the developers. Also, one of my favorites at the event, the last keyword tool, pretty much reloaded. One of the things I'm excited about is the hands-on training from creators of the last keyword tool, that's us, including little-known tricks and techniques for SEO backlinking and power moves taught by Jimmy Kelley on how to permanently avoid over-optimization penalties. The last keyword tool is one of the only consumer-grade real-time natural language processing keyword research tools on the market. Now, what's ironic here is that although I am a co-inventor in this software, it's very cool and exciting, and that Jimmy has come up with ways to use this that I would never have thought of. And it's really going to be interesting for you to see how some of these filters, including specific and exclusive filters made by Jimmy and Sue, are going to be able to help you really protect yourself from not only over-optimization, but a variety of other things. Anything to add there on that one, guys?
Well, we're going to get into some really cool specifics about how some of these things work together. So our latest release of the silo plugins can work together with the last keyword tool to really give you some additional edges and some protection against some of the upcoming things that you're going to see from Google.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that on this Skyfall here in a second. Yeah, and so none of these things here are bullet points that are like isolated instances. What you're saying is that everything is connected, and
everything is connected.
And everything actually is connected.
It really is.
And all these topics. And so, folks, many of you have been with us for years, know that we're surrounding the camp, or actually pretty much have had the camp surrounded in terms of online business and SEO and traffic. But this is a really key point. TLKT is highly under-optimized by far too many of our students, and we're going to show you how to optimize it to an extreme level. Kraken Vertical Research. Kraken Vertical Online Market Analysis Software, my favorite tool. I live, breathe, and sleep this thing. This is my favorite tool ever. I'm a co-inventor in this tool along with Sue, Jimmy, and the rest of our team. Get hands-on training for the creators of Kraken Voma, arguably the most powerful market research and theme research tool in the market. Learn all of the tricks and tips used by our in-house team, Dominate Markets. Sue, I forgot to change that copy. It actually should read, it's the only vertical market research tool on the market. We have confirmed that. There are plenty of we did some research. There are plenty of keyword research tools out there, but there's not anything that uses theme research in clusters like Kraken. You can see here's this little snippet of the way that language is laid out. It's not just laid out conceptually, it's also laid out in terms of profitability, so you know exactly how much money the pile of keywords is worth in your arsenal. Anything to add to that, Sue?
Well, we'll get to it in another slide here in a second.
Okay. I know you're just busting at the seams. Jimmy, did you have something to add to that?
Yeah.
Let's go back. It's important.
For people that just randomly go out and pick LSIs, just remember not all LSIs are the same. You
mean latent semantic indexing keywords?
Correct.
Gotcha. All right. And if you're not careful, I'm going to start grilling you questions, and then we have to wait for the event, though. So, what does he mean by that? Yeah, the entire event is like this. For those of you watching, it's like just unbelievable rich information. One feed to rule them all. Okay, one feed to rule them all, and the one feed supercharger plugin. Get the secrets behind the secrets of the all-new one-feed supercharger SEO plugin for WordPress. Don't get Sue started on this, or Jimmy. Don't get Jimmy started on this especially. Learn why we made it and how to use it to dominate online markets. I've been testing this plugin and the finalized version. We're going to be showing you guys stuff that we've never shown anybody else. It really blows my mind. Comments, Sue? Or
the power that this has got to tie the different rings together, it's just... I'm tickled pink. I'm shutting up now.
Yeah, we really shouldn't get... There's so much I want to say about this plugin, but until we know, just be at the event is all I have to say on this one. This thing alone is worth the event to be there. It's just so crazy. SEO recovery secrets, penalties. SEO recovery and beyond. If you thought Jimmy's SEO traffic hospital panda and penguin recovery method was amazing, wait until you study with him and us in person. Okay, I can honestly say that everything that I've ever learned about recovery, I've learned 100% from Jimmy. Sue is a seriously skilled ninja on all this kind of stuff. But you guys have anything to add about SEO recovery? I mean, this is by far, for me in 2014, as we move on to the next year, was the most surprising response of traffic and response from our customer base hitting that course so hard that our servers at some points were having a hard time keeping the pages up. Do you have comments on this at the live event, you guys? Like,
The one thing I will say is this has got to be our most popular course that we've put out in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
We've had so much success with the members who have gone through that course and applied Jimmy's methods. And I mean, interestingly enough, because I've been doing silo structure since before we started Theme Zoom, I've never really had any issues with most of my sites. They've been, the issues that I've had have been really small. And so my experience in penalty recovery is minuscule.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that really amazed me when we met Jimmy was the fact that he actually buys domains and penalizes them just to figure out how to get them out of the penalization.
Yes, I mean, like for me, the idea of breaking something to see how to fix it is not new to me, and I prided myself on, like the ability to do that a little bit. And then Jimmy came along. I remember we were sitting one night. He's like, "That's not broken. This is how you break something." And so we're talking about a whole we're talking about a whole nother level of breaking stuff to never have it get broken again that way, you guys. Anybody listening to this, I really felt that we should have taken this stuff in the SEO recovery secrets and done a completely different live event. In fact, next year we might end up doing that. So you need to get into this event right now while this is still a part of it. That's all I have to say. Because literally, I could sit with Jimmy for 7 days straight and not get to the end of the wealth of knowledge that is there. And the kind of stuff that we'll be talking about in this section alone, just grab it at the live event while you can. Automatic video traffic secrets. Okay, we talk a lot about automatic video traffic in certification level 3 and wanted you to know that it is there. We were going to talk to you about things that we don't even talk about in this course. It involves powering up. Again, a lot of Jimmy and Sue's powering up methods. How does domain authority stacking apply to this? How does powering up your domain apply to this? What are the do's and don'ts at a high level? What about things that I can't really talk about in the webinars, such as large-scale hosting and nuances about different systems, such as Plesk versus Microsoft versus, how you're going to handle your servers? Anything you ever want to know. Okay, we'll spend time talking about it. Also a huge boom because both Sue and Jimmy are there to talk about how to power that stuff up. And there's things that you have to consider when doing sites that have thousands upon thousands of pages for SEO. Jimmy's there to cover that. Sue's there to cover that. So we'll get into this layer of the web ring quite a bit.
Yeah, one of the interesting things with this is we actually do away with the concept of white hat and black hat.
Right.
And we just take all those concepts and throw them out the window. Yeah. And we roll up our sleeves and we show you stuff that there's no way in God's little green earth we would talk about on our websites.
No, in fact, I tremble to think, even right now, that we're actually even going to talk about it. But the cool thing, but the cool thing is that we are all about broadcasting, and the one web ring system, there is a unique twist that we provide called engagement rank that shows you that really keeps this stuff evergreen, and we're going to get into that at multiple layers. Google Skyfall proof. Okay, this is the big controversy for us of 2014 where Sue and Jimmy released a prediction that ended up becoming true, and it actually is still in the process of becoming true. Beyond Google Skyfall and the future of Google, the Google Skyfall update was coined internally in our companies. You may have heard about Google Skyfall update, but you may want to hear the rest of the story, where it all leads, and how to protect yourself from where Skyfall is going. Some of you on our internal webinars noticed that at a certain point, Sue and Jimmy just zipped it up. They just clammed up. Okay? Did anybody notice that? Raise your hand if you guys noticed it. The reason they did that is there's stuff that's uncomfortable and awkward to discuss. We actually want to look at your face and look into see the whites of your eyes so that we know that we have your attention, so that we're not creating some kind of overly fear-mongering. In other words, there's things that we want to make sure that we acclimate you into over a few hours of period so that you know exactly what it is that we're talking about, because everything has a solution. We just need to be talking to you in person in order to get to it. Do you have anything to add to that, Sue or Jimmy?
No, I think you said it perfectly.
Excellent. The web ring setup. Hands-on advanced training on how to set up your socially activated, semantically integrated one web ring perpetual downstream traffic and domain authority stacking system. Soon we're going to add the word multi-format broadcasting. Right, Sue?
Yeah.
But I didn't have room on the screen, and it's become a running joke, but this is the longest product name we've ever had. But it is actually true. It does contain those. So we're going to show you some setup procedures. There's a lot of stuff on the checklist that tends to fall off people's checklists, even though we give it to them. So we're going to iterate how those things are connected. And if you need us in person, we're there for that. One of my favorite things about this live event is future-proof business architecture, one-on-one business architecture workshop. Do you really know how to make money in your online business, or are you just winging it? People get distracted by SEO silo architecture. They get distracted even by my work on persuasion architecture, where we show you how those two integrate. Without a proper business architecture, where Sue, myself, Matt, sometimes Jimmy, start talking about how the online business procedure works, we're going to go over how to think about in terms of just regular business. We're going to talk about your canvas. We're going to talk about how to lean stack your systems, and then we give you advanced procedures that simply are not even covered in books like Eric Weiss's Lean Startup and all that, because they're not. His stuff is really about agile development, but there's things in relationship to your real business that we really need to help you with. It's one-on-one. We whiteboard all of your systems and processes and help you, and then show you how to connect it to all the digital stuff. PBN to PBBN strategies. I was being cautious as I wrote this, but learn how online multi-format content broadcasting can transition a PBN, private blog network, to a PBBN strategy, and how you can use this to enhance and future-proof your empire. So I'm not going to touch this past that. If you have,
I think that's perfect.
No. We just really can't say anything more about this. And Jimmy, you have any? Can we leave it at that?
Yeah, I think it's safe to leave it there.
Yeah, probably we should. Okay, included. Trident. Here's the kind of kitchen sink giveaway stuff. Included. Trident software access. This is about to be released, guys, gals. Exclusive access to the all-new Kraken Trident automatic market blueprint. This process runs hundreds of advanced Kraken research drills and creates a massive silo-structured blueprint, allowing you to literally swallow your market whole. In fact, I grabbed this screen capture from an old Kraken blueprint. It actually kind of weakens my presentation here because you can go much bigger than that. This is like a little tiny snippet. All right. This is all new. We've been working on this for some time, and you have access to purchase this at certification only prices, okay? But you're going to be the only type of person that has access to this. You must have passed through certification gates in order to gain access to the all-new Trident software. Also included is the Video Kraken Dominator, currently being built. Priority access to the all-new software, this plugin, which is the automatic video traffic plugin that blows away the current public version. Comments on that, Sue?
Yeah, there will always be two versions of Video Kraken Dominator, the one that everybody can get and the one that only certified advisors can get.
I guess you've anticipated those help desk questions coming in, right?
Yes.
See, the thing is, you guys, is that we have to have a line somewhere. Sue, the team is an enterprise level software development team, and we can always do stuff that is dangerously provocative and dangerously powerful for the general public. We have now, Sue has laid down certain kinds of rules and with Jimmy's support and Matt and the rest of the team, where we just draw a line in the sand and say our public website, that is our basic members and even our advanced members, can't have access to certain things. Only certified advisors can, because we need to train you. Sue has to sign off, and it's not easy to get a signature from her. Jimmy has to sign off on particular SEO skills. He doesn't do that easily. Neither one of these two do that. I don't do that easily when it comes to neuromarketing. If you consistently write bad headline copies, I'm not going to sign a certified certificate for you. So that's why it's so cool to get certified, so that we know that when we put a lethal weapon in your hand, that you're not going to blow yourself or your company or your country up. You want to make sure that you know what you're doing.
Exactly. So let me just back up for a second, because with Trident software,
right,
you can have a 50 silo site automatically generated without any issue. And then you feed that into the Kraken Dominator plugin. And with that, unless Jimmy's sat you down and shown you what not to do,
Ugh.
you will blow
Oh,
yourself
it's
up.
just factual.
And between you've got Jimmy on one side, you've got Kevin on the other side telling you what you're going to need with the hosting company.
Yep.
And because otherwise, it just gets out of hand so fast. I mean, one day you've got all this traffic going through, and the next day you've got nothing.
Exactly.
So,
Not that
that's why.
Not that I've ever blown myself
Not that
up,
you've
actually.
never done that. No. So these are the reasons why it's certified advisors only.
These are the things.
These are the things.
All right, so I hope everybody's understanding what we're saying here. It's really core. Included lifetime elite members access. In other words, the basic Network Empire members area at networkempire.com and networkempire.com/members-area, there is actually a locked area that's reserved for you, certified advisors. And it's called the Network Empire Certification and Executive Training. This is a special place, very special, because only you get it. And this is where certain aspects, we don't necessarily publish the live feeds or the live events videos in there. We do it a little bit differently every year. I'm not sure what you have planned for that this year, Sue. But this is a place that we do publish a lot of our material. We aren't publishing the event videos here, though, I don't think.
No, we don't.
Yeah. So although students do get a copy, at least last year they got a copy of those videos, we'll keep you informed about how we're going to be doing that this year. It's highly coveted video footage from inside the inner dark circle, light circle. Now, okay, lifetime access to our ever-growing and evolving executive training and certification members area. Okay, included, unlock all the other levels. One thing that has been hard for me to communicate is when you purchase the certification and unlock all certification levels, which is what our offer is here today, you also get access to all the other certification levels, level 1, level 2. These are all independent products that can be purchased alone. And if you've already taken any of these products, the price that you paid for them can be used to subtract against the cost of your certification event. Okay, the local leads empire, of course, is the last one, and the level 1 perpetual mastermind group. So these are all included for certified members. You have access to those. Do you have any comments on that, Sue?
No.
Okay, so we'll get into that. If you have any questions, contact us on Skype. Also, you do get in our certified members only directory, which will be appearing on a couple of sites, high-profile sites with high domain authority, and you'll get added to those elite agent directories. Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. I want to make sure that everybody knows that if you are watching this after January 1st, the price to certification has gone up because we've had to reserve the hotel and our blocks of rooms and everything else. And it's a significant increase of price. So I want to make sure that if you're considering going, we probably will be sold out by January 1st anyways. Early bird special, you save $10,000 by reserving your seat by January 1st. In the past, we do and probably will this year have agencies that actually purchase sometime in February, and they pay full price. So we want to make sure that you have the option to get the early bird special. It's available only until January 1st. Available only until January 1st with Sue's crazy idea to have a 12-month payment plan, which is very generous, and upon thinking about it, I think it's a very cool idea because we want everybody in our community to be able to afford to make it. Okay, so that's after the $3,000 reservation fee. You will be billed up until the event right away, and we'll get more into that. If you have questions on that, go ahead, Sue.
Let me just run through an example. So let's say it's $20,000, and let's say you've already taken Tech Foundation 1 last quarter. So we subtract $2,000 off of that, and then you're going to send us a $3,000 reservation fee. So that's $15,000 that would then get spread out over the course of 12 months. Right.
So not only do you get subtracted, so the total remainder that they owe, subtracting any previous certification curriculum that they've completed, is what the price over 12 months will be. So it's kind of interesting because that means that everybody has a unique case. We have some students that have taken Traffic Hospital and Certification 1 and 2, but have not taken Tech Foundation 3, where we've had another person take 3 and I have not, and Traffic Hospital. So everybody's price of what they can use as a voucher is different. So that's why we go over it with you in person, just like a university, to see what you're accredited to use to get a discount with that price point.
Exactly.
Okay, excellent. So that's a really generous and exciting offer until January 1st. Reserve your seat now. We are 12 in, and so we have a few remaining seats at the time of this offer. click the buy button at the bottom of this page at themezoomcertification.com, or if you're watching this video on YouTube, please go to www.themezoomcertification.com and read a little bit more about what we're offering, and everything we've discussed today is laid out in a step-by-step bullet point. Or you can contact me on Skype at ThemeZoom for more information, or you can call 608-432-1439. Again, that's 608-432-1439. Now, we're not probably going to pick up right away, but do leave a message and a phone number where you can be reached so that we can follow up and find out how best to serve you and complete your purchase process. But please do so before January 1st. And with that, I don't have anything else to add. Do you guys want to close this with something, Sue?
You know, I just want to talk for a minute. We've had the last couple of certification events at the Scottsdale Hotel Resort.
Yes.
And we're going to be back there again this year. It's a great place. It's very comfortable. And the cool thing about it is, well, the thing that I love the most about the event is that I really get to meet everybody and get to know everybody. So we keep the size small, 20 seats in total. And that's so that we have one-on-one time with you. We get there fairly early in the morning. We have coffee. We start the program. We eat lunch with you guys. Back again for the afternoon. So lunch and coffee service is included in the price. Breakfast and dinner is not. But we hang around for dinner and a couple of beers afterwards, and we're happy to talk to guys pretty much until they're done talking, until everybody's like, okay, we better go to sleep now.
Go quite late. We're not going to make it.
Sometimes that can be until 4 a.m.
Don't get me started on that. Shame on you guys. They kept some of the group of students up until 3:30 or 4 in the morning. But you know what? Everybody's really pumped. We have coffee on. Don't worry about that. Point is that this only happens once, sometimes twice a year, depending upon how Sue plans it out. I really want you to be there because the relationship that you build there with your fellow certified advisors and with a team like ours is unprecedented in the history of anything that I have ever seen in terms of offerings. I've been in this business for a long time, almost a decade, been to all kinds of events and conferences. Sue, Jimmy, myself, Kevin, Matt, we designed this in the way that we would have want to have been served 10 years ago when we got online. Nothing like it exists. I know everybody says that, but like many of our students will tell you, we mean it. So we look forward to seeing you on the inside. Thank you so much, Jimmy and Sue, and we'll go ahead and wrap this up and start getting ready to serve these folks to get them into the live event.
Thanks, Russell. I look forward to seeing all you guys at this year's certification.